Hey guys, welcome back. Today I thought we would do a little book review. I have tea. I'm going to give you permission right now to get tea or coffee or water or whatever it is you drink. And the reason I say I give you permission is because a lot of times I feel like I can't relax unless someone directly tells me to. So this is me directly telling you, pause the video, go get whatever you need to get to relax. First book we're going to talk about is Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. It's by deGrasse, Tyson. I'm going to double check that I'm saying that right. Hold on. Okay, so I said it right. I just had to make sure because, I don't know, I had to make sure. I've never actually confirmed it, and I read his books and I listen to him and I really like him, so I feel like I should definitely know how to say his name. But anyway, this is his name. Oh, this is his book. It's pretty recent. I think it was like 2018 that it was written. But anyway, it's a really nice book. If you're interested in like physics, or if you're interested in like cosmology, he touches on a lot of things in the book, and it's almost like you're talking to him. He has this like really great writing style where it's like he's explaining things to you, but it's like it's a conversation. So it's a really nice book if you are like slightly interested, if you're thinking about going into the field. It's a really nice like introductory book. And also if it's just something you're interested in, like me, it's a really easy read. I love reading. I think I read this in like a week. It is pretty thin too. So it doesn't look like this in stores. There is a cover to it, but I like the way it looks, you know, naked. So yeah, that's the first one. And then the second one is actually a very similar book, also written by deGrasse Tyson, and it's Letters from an Astrophysicist. And this one's really cool too. It's a lot of emails, written letters, and sometimes like tweets that people have sent him over the years. This one's very recent too. I think this one's more recent than the other one. Let me try to see. But it's very entertaining, just like the last one, because again, it feels like you're talking to him, or well, he's talking to you really. But it's an easy read if you like kind of like corny jokes and like, I don't know, like dad humor. That's what this is. So this was written in 2019, so you know, pretty recent. This one's pretty great. It's also cool because he like titles them, so it's literally just letters and then his responses to the letters. So it's pretty awesome. That's not what I thought the book was. I don't know what I thought it was, but I knew I wanted it, and I still enjoyed it, so it didn't really matter. It didn't matter to me. So yeah, that's a great one too. Probably the last educational one we'll talk about is this one, All American Boys. This is by Jason Reynolds and Brendan Keeley. I'm gonna sneeze. She took it in an interesting direction. Ooh, I almost fell off my chair. I don't know what's happening tonight. It's like 10 o'clock. Is it 10 o'clock? No, it's like 9. Anyway, the book, it was required of me to read it. And at first I was really afraid because I love to read, but I hate being told what to do. So when someone tells me to read, I'm like, why do you have to tell me to read? Because now I don't want to read anymore. But this was really good. So it does touch on racism and prejudice and police brutality. If it's something that is important to you and that you're interested in and that you really like, or you want to learn more about, this is a really good book. It is based on a fictional story, but it aligns with a lot of the real life stories of police brutality and like black men versus white men, and how they're treated differently in the judicial system and just in everyday life anyway. It's a really nice read. It's very easy to read. It is based on teenagers, so it's also kind of like a coming of age story. There's a lot of characters, like other characters that come into play, but it focuses on 2 main teenage boys. It also gives like really good perspectives from every single character. There are white characters, there is a police character, and then there's also like the black boys family and then the white boys family and how they all feel about different things. It's a nice perspective book, but it's also like a leisure read. And then let's talk about Mitch Albom, who is probably my favorite author if I had to choose one. And I say he's my favorite author because I have 5 books by him, one of which I haven't read yet, but I do have it and I'm waiting to read it. And the first one I read I actually don't have with me because I loaned it to my little cousin, and that one is called, the first phone call from heaven. Sorry for, I was like, what? But yeah, so the first phone call from heaven was the first book I ever read by Mitch Albom, and I read it because my grandfather liked him a lot and he had the book, and then he passed away, and then that was kind of like when it started. So then I got the book and I loved it. I also read that very quickly. And then the second book I read by him was The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. They're all written very similarly. It's like very, I'm like blanking on, it's one of those books that takes you away from your life. It's one of those books that like encapsulates you. All of his books are, and it also teaches you a lot. Like if you're a philosophical person, I don't know if I said that right. You can let me know in the comments if I'm stupid. If you like that kind of stuff and you like thinking about life and like your time here and what you're meant to do and the people you meet and stuff like that, you're gonna love this book specifically, but also him as an author. So this is The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. And this one I think is newer. I feel like he writes a new book every year, which I don't know how he does. I don't know how any writers write books, to be honest. I mean, I've thought about it before, but I don't know if I could ever do it. So then the other one is The Timekeeper. Same kind of theme, very much like what are you doing with your time here? So if you're into that. Also, I find that if you're a religious person, or if you believe in God, like the Christian God, then these books are very in line with that. There are some things in it that can be interpreted in different ways. Sorry, I was just reading the back of it because I don't exactly remember it, but the inventor of the world's first clock is punished for trying to measure God's greatest gift. Alright, so if you're like me and you don't think time is real, which it's not, then this book is for you. And then there's Tuesdays with Maury, which this is actually the book that my grandfather had, now that I think about it. It wasn't the first phone call from heaven. It was this book. And he like raved about it once, I think, and then we were cleaning out his apartment after he passed away. I saw it and I was like, I'm gonna get that. But then I ended up getting the other one, and then I think this one, no, yes, I got that one, this one, Timekeeper, and then the newest one that I have that I don't remember the name of because I don't remember. This one I remember being really good. It's a lot of life lessons, you know? It's a lot of like, what can I learn from other people? What am I still learning? What have I learned? How am I using that? My experiences, like what have they done for me? Kind of things like that. And like, what have I done for other people? Like, how have I impacted others? So they're all very short books. Like, they're all very thin. Like, these are how thin they are. They're very easy reads. If you're the kind of person who doesn't have much time but you really want to read, these are good books for you to pick up. They don't require a lot of, they're not like educational, so it's not like you need to remember a lot of things. And the last one is Angel's Ashes by Frank McCourt. I was obsessed with this book. I don't know where I got it from, I don't know what year, I don't know when, but I have read it 3 times. And I love this book so much. It is a memoir. It's about little Frank McCourt, and who is the author. It's about him when he was young and he lived in Ireland, with his family. His father was like in and out of the house. His mom was a very strict, like, old Irish woman, and he had brothers and sisters, some of them passed away from sickness. It's a great story. And then it also, towards the end, tells of how he came to America and, you know, created his own life, and how those things affected him later in life. So it's a really good book. It reads like a story. It does say it's a memoir. It also is a winner of the Pulitzer Prize. It reads kind of like not like a fairy tale. Well, actually, yeah, kind of like a fairy tale, I will say that. But not in the sense of like, oh, Cinderella, like everything's great. Well, actually, that's not true. Cinderella wasn't great. Anyway, it's not like a traditional fairy tale. It's like the kind of story your mom would read to you before you went to bed, kind of thing. So I recommend this one very, 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 very highly. I will link all of these in the description. And this will not be the last video, so make sure to come back. And don't be afraid to comment anything. You can comment suggestions. You can comment whatever you want. Okay? And if you want to see more books, I do have more books that I have not read yet, but as I read them, I'll talk about them. Bye! Don't forget to finish your tea and relax.